everyone can see my screen at this time?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Learning.com, the home-based meetup for May. And I welcome everyone here this afternoon, and I'm glad you all could come. I also want to welcome Matthew Mayo, who is our new home-based manager. This is his first home-based meetup, so be nice to him and stuff. So, with on that note, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Matt and let him take care of the home base, the opening sessions. And I'm going to put the links in once again, just in case someone just joined.
Thank you, Audrey. I just want to welcome everybody to today for our Learning.com home-based meetup. You should have got a bulletin earlier this morning from Yolanda. Our Power School home-based meetup was moved until Friday. So that information went out this morning. But again, I just want to say welcome to this afternoon session. And I'm excited to be a part of the home-based team. We got a great team here, and we just look forward to continuing to work with you all and to collaborate and continuous improvement. So we're just excited about that. Just a couple of updates here, or reminders, I guess, before we get started. Some housekeeping rules here. Please make sure your microphone is turned off. Your camera, you can have it on, you can have it off. Looks like to me, some of you had it on earlier, so it was good to see some faces for a change as we continue to navigate through these wonderful virtual worlds. But I also want to remind you that there's a chat feature too as well. So if you have any questions throughout today, please put those questions in there. We'll get them answered as quickly as possible. But don't forget to, at the very bottom, you'll notice at the bottom, there's captions now available inside of WebEx. And so you can go through there and have the captions available as well. Just a reminder for our home-based meetups overview, that our purpose continues to be to foster that positive, productive, field-based relationships, communicate specific information to each of our PSUs and charters, and just give you feedback, elicit feedback from you all, from the field to inform state-level decision makers. You know, we value your feedback each and every time, so we take that into consideration. And then just some time for you to collaborate, problem solve, network together, and then coordination between the different DPI-based groups that serve our end users of our home-based products. And of course, our home-based products, as we are wrapping up this school year very, very fast. Of course, that is our student information system, our instructional improvement system, our learning management system, our OER and NESIS and digital literacy, which we'll talk more about here today, along with Imagine Math. Just in case you have missed some of the presentations this week in our home-based meetup, all of these have been shared here. So far we've had our NESIS earlier this week, as well as our SchoolNet from John Mayers doing that for us earlier this week as well. And we'll have a link, of course, in here too for learning.com for updates today, as well as we look forward to Canvas tomorrow. Our home-based meetup schedule for the week, we're on schedule for the most part here, other than having to move our Power School to later this week. So just a reminder about that. And you can see here, we have been busy since July with our home-based meetup schedule, virtual all year. But we're extremely excited to let you know that for next year, our dates for next year are ready. So you can go ahead and mark your calendar for these updates. Audrey, I'm on slide 9 here.
Okay.
All right. And so you'll notice here, we are going to do a hybrid model here. So in September and May, we are going to be face-to-face. So you can see the little smiley emoji there. We're excited about being face-to-face with you. And so, but we are in need of locations. So if your PSU is can and interested in hosting one of these face-to-face home-based meetups, if you would please use that hosting form there, or you can email Yolanda Wilson as well for any more information there. We'd love to come by and take this on the road and be with you in your PSU. A couple of reminders here this afternoon, our home-based opt-in tool update. Don't forget that will be taken offline as of Friday, April 29th for an upgrade as we prepare for the 22-23 home-based opt-in process. And so the opt-in process, which is currently scheduled right now for May the 16th. You can keep up to date with that information on the Homebase opt-in website. That hyperlink is in there for you as well. And as always, if you have any questions, you can direct them at the Homebase email address there, or our awesome Yolanda Wilson as well. Other updates here this afternoon is NC Ed Cloud for Littles. So if anyone wants to opt into this, this is the QR codes and pictograph for logins for pre-K and 5. So more information about that is shared in the hyperlink below, and about the opt-in process for that as well. I don't believe that we have Cynthia Sartain on the call. Am I correct? I think I've seen her.
No, I don't see her.
So there are some awesome updates. NCYSL, EBSCO, and Britannica resources are moving, and it's going to be awesome. So we're super excited. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the house. It's got a brand new mailbox. And so EBSCO and Britannica resources are moving to NC Ed Cloud for that single sign-on solution. And so we're excited about that. And so you can see here, these things will be available through NC Ed Cloud. And then, of course, the planned sunset of NCYSL site will be June 30th as everything makes that transition over into NC Ed Cloud. There's also some more information on the next slide from Cynthia Sartain, just for educators, students, and parents, guidance about all the resources that are available in EBSCO and Britannica. Great high-quality resources as well, in addition to the toolkit that is provided there as well. If you don't have summer plans, you've got them now. And so Homebase meetups updates here. We're NC Bold is coming to a region near you. So we'll be traveling from the mountains to the coast. We're extremely excited about these 2 weeks, as we have a Eastern cohort and a Western cohort where some of our best leaders will be sharing along with our staff best practices. And so we're excited to offer these 8 different sessions here that are available. Keep in mind to share this with your staff and your principals, but also know that you're more than welcome to attend more than one. So obviously you won't be able to attend all the sessions in one day. So if you wish to join us on the showcase, please come and register for that. There is a hyperlink there for that too. More information is coming your way as far as getting registered for that. But again, that is coming 2 solid weeks of some awesome professional development as we look at all the great things that are going on here in the state of North Carolina. Also, other Homebase meetup updates here today is SchoolNet Transcend for the 2022-23 school year. If you're interested in this, if you would please contact Yolanda Wilson as well, if you're interested in being a part of that. And then Canvas, Corey will be working more with you guys tomorrow on that, but just to remember to complete your rollover form for Canvas as well. And then Go Open continues to expand as new social studies standards have now been placed into Go Open. Last but not least, NESIS implemented a district administrator central office view-only role for superintendents to view all staff and plans in there. So that is new, and there is training available. So if you need any training on that, Cami and Aaron is ready to come meet you, or either come be with you virtually to give training on that. But as anytime, we are here to serve you. So please know that whatever anybody on the Homebase team, we're ready to come be with you and work with you and to help you as we continue to grow together. And if you haven't already, notice we are all over social media. So whatever your social media likes are, you can find us somewhere in the social media world to keep up to date on all the Homebase products, things that are happening, and so forth as well with that. Last but not least here, this is your digital teaching learning Homebase team for 2021-22. So I'm super excited to be a part of this team. It's an amazing team already. Week 2 into the fire, so it's been some good stuff already happening. And so those email addresses are all hyperlinked in there as well. And then, of course, we always value your feedback. We take your feedback very, very seriously. So before you leave today, Audrey will remind you, but the feedback form is on here. We want your feedback. We take that feedback, and then we go back and figure out what we can do better each and every time. But again, I just want to say thank you for being here today. And if there's anything that we can do for you, please reach out, let us know. Use the chat feature today. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Audrey. And again, thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. Again, welcome. This is the Homebase Meetup for Learning.com. And again, I have placed in the chat for everyone the links to the slides that we will be using today. So feel free at your leisurely to look at them. Our agenda for today is, again, I want to welcome everyone. I'm Audrey Long, the DPI Product Manager for Learning.com. We have with us today Brian Rose, who is the SVP Strategic Initiatives for Learning.com. We also are grateful to have Kevin Combs with us today, who is the South Carolina State Program Manager for Learning.com. And Tiffany, she's not with us today. She's on vacation with the family. But Tiffany Kinney is our lead state program manager for Learning.com. Today, we're going to go over the intent to survey results for 22-23. I'm also going to share with you the Learning.com pre versus post skill checks, the year-over-year April results for 2022, the Homebase admin guides, the Padlet activity that we generally try to have so we can get some input from you all, what's new, coming soon. And today we're glad to have three representatives of three different PSUs that's going to share their usage with the audience about Learning.com. We're glad to have with us today Karen Nichols, who is with Hoke County Schools, Cathy Keys, who is with Richmond County Schools, and also Amy Pope with Sampson County Schools. So we're all looking forward to hear their feedback and how Learning.com has been very valuable for their school system. We're going to go over the end of the year, resources and support, and of course, we'll open it up for questions. This is the excuse me, like I said, this is the results from the intent to survey. We had about 42 districts that were available this year for Tier 1, that qualified rather for Tier 1. And out of those districts, we had 61% participation that have already said yes, that they wanted to participate with Learning.com. So we were glad to hear that. And that includes 19 new users. And keep in mind, the new users includes new LEAs and also charter schools that are eligible to participate as Tier 1 districts. And so we have an estimate of 151,741 students that we look to enroll for Learning.com 22-23. So we were really glad to see the results and see the positive results that we received. And as I stated, this is the April year-over-year totals and the April year-over-year increase.
Are you leaving there? You leaving out early? Well, I was going to try to, but
Okay.
Miss Audrey, I think we're getting some feedback from Cindy
Yeah.
Humphrey's machine. I think it's when I see it there, I think that's off now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we had 35 participating Tier 1s for the 21-22 year. Engaged students last year, this time we had 24,414. This year we had 70,110 students. Launches last year, this time we had 398,993, as compared to this year we have 19,543,035 students launches rather. So it's up by 187% this year for engaged students. And total launches, we had 390% total launches, and that was as they pointed out, 14 items per student when they say unique items. And this is one that I was really excited about. They did a pre-skills check and a post-skills check. So for computational thinking, pre-skills, it was 5.5. And then the average for post-skill check was 7.4 for computational thinking. And as you can see, all of the other ones and how they greatly increased. The difference for computational thinking was 36%. Computer fundamentals was 40%. And so on. And then we had a large percent. The largest one was in word processing. The pre-skill check was 4.2. The post-skill check was 6.2. So the difference was 2.0, which gave us 49% in difference. So we were really pleased to see that. As you all know, on Canvas, we have a Canvas course, and the Homebase Admin Guide also has a course. The way that you would, and let me just back up and say, what we did was each product in Homebase under this course, we went out and put information that we thought would be very helpful for new teachers, new coordinators, to help them to transition into that product smoothly without any problems. For Learning.com, this guide will assist you in getting off to a great and productive start with Learning.com, again, as a teacher or a coordinator. And the module will cover certain topics such as login, how to enroll or delete a student, create courses, and individualize learning paths. And the way to access that is that you would normally just log into Rapid Identity. Once you log into your Rapid Identity, or you would click on Canvas. Then next, you'll see a blue bar on the left-hand side. At the very bottom, you'll see Homebase resources. So you would click on that. And then that's when you'll see each individual product listed, each of their courses listed. So, of course, you would click on Learning.com, and under Learning.com, we have separate sections. We have the information for DPI Product Manager, how to get started, and any type of Canvas support you might need, you can click here. And the modules that we have right now are K through 8 digital literacy. We have all of the resources that's available. You would just click on this button to access all of the resources for Learning.com. Then we have detailed information about Easy Tech. And then here, I also have a button where you can just click on here to see when the next Homebase meetup is, where it's going to be located, and so forth. And then the last button is your beginning of the year information and your end of the year information. When you have time, once you go out and view it, if you think of something that you feel like will be very helpful for yourself and as well as your teammates, then please feel free to contact me at audrey.long@dpi.nc.gov, and we will be glad, I'll be glad to add that. And as promised, then we will have a Padlet, and on that Padlet, I have put that information, I have put that link to the Padlet out in chat. I'll just go ahead and do that again right quick for your convenience. And what I want you to do is just take a few minutes to go out and complete this Padlet and just provide your input. And we just have a column for summer plans. What are your summer plans? And include your name and your district. Also, I'd like to know which skill or skills has been most valuable for your students. And if you're taking advantage of the learning paths, we'd like to know your feedback on the learning paths. And to add, all you would do is just click here to add comment. So I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do that. Somebody said they're going to work. I hope it's going to be like work around the house, like in the garden or something.
Audrey,
Yes.
this is Shelby with Hyde County.
Uh-huh.
I noticed when you showed the map about who was going to participate in the 22-23 school year, it
Right.
didn't show us listed. I thought I had completed that survey to show that we were intending to use it next year. Is it too late for us to be able to get in that?
No, I'm sure you probably did. You're saying like when we had the different little icons.
Or to do the intent survey? Yeah, when you showed
The map with the little icons.
yes, ma'am.
We just sort of scattered the icons actually not representative of the ones that we heard from. But I'm
Okay.
sure yeah, and you say you're with which counties?
Hyde.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we heard from Hyde. Yeah. But the icons on the map, they're not representative of who we heard from. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm second
I'm glad.
guessing myself to whether I completed it or not.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm glad you asked that because someone else might have thought the same thing too. Okay, so for the feedback on learning paths, someone said they would want more coding and to shorten the activity titles. Okay, that's good feedback. Digital citizenship lessons and keyboarding skills. That's good. As you could see, the pre-test and the post-test skill check, keyboarding was one of the high ones that showed a lot of improvement. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slide deck, but this is open because we, like I said, we really want to know, we're really interested in knowing which skills has been very beneficial for your school and also feedback on learning paths. And the feedback Brian will take back to his to learning.com so that they will be able to address those issues. Ah, Cameron says she's going to jump in the pool. Cameron, when you going to jump in the pool? Because I want to come, and I know I'm going to want to jump in the pool. And someone's going to ISTE in June, so that's good. And National Beta Convention, good.
Be jumping in just as soon as I can, Miss Audrey.
Just say when, and I'll be there too. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
and
going
I
to
saw
go.
some comments in the chat, Audrey, that somebody else was worried about whether they filled out the form.
Oh,
But you'll follow up with learning.com and them, I'm sure, just to
okay,
confirm
yes.
who all's in there.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that we take a look at that maybe even before this call is over, and we'll start getting some feedback to everybody.
Okay, great, great. That was Brian. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the slide deck. Okay, so here I'm going to let Brian, or you or Kevin, continue from
Yeah,
this point. And just let me know when you want me to switch the slides. That's fine.
absolutely. Thank you, Audrey, and hello,
Mhm.
everybody. I am really, really happy to be with you this afternoon. Tiffany is in Orlando at the happiest place on earth, so we wish her well on her vacation. You've got myself and Kevin Combs, and he and I will be trading off. I want to just, before we get into some of the details of what's new, I just want to thank all of you for participating today, but really, I want to thank you for all the work that you've done over this last year. The results that Audrey showed you regarding the pre and the post skill check are a function of all the work that you all do in the classroom with your students. And so I just appreciate your support of our program and all the work that you're doing in your classroom with your students. So I wanted to introduce Kevin. Kevin is actually a resident of North Carolina, but is doing some work for us in the state of South Carolina. Very familiar with our platform. And he's going to share some information about what's new, what's coming, and then I'll be back to be with you here shortly. Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Rose. I noticed a lot of names sound very familiar. It was just a couple years ago that I was in Scotland County as the executive director of technology integration, digital teaching and learning. We changed that title several times along the way, but learning.com was a product of ours, and we are one of the first districts to adopt it, and absolutely love the program. And hopefully now I'll take some of that passion that I remember of being on your side of the table, some of the knowledge that I have of being on this side of the table with learning.com, and really work together with your feedback to help bring these what's new to you every month, and really focus on those things that you're finding important. So activities like that Padlet we just did, we take that seriously. We bring that to our developers, and we ask to make changes to our platform based on what it is that you are wanting to see. And I'm happy today to share with you some of those things from previous times that you've either spoken to Tiffany, or people from South Carolina spoken to me, or throughout the entire country as they go back to their customer service manager with these updates that they'd like to see. We put them in our queue. We assign them a quarter that we're going to work on them, and we try to roll these out periodically. So in this month, one of the things that we're focusing on is our teacher management side. So what we were really focusing on was more functionality for those class groups that you have. Now, currently, it's the ones that you've already created and are now in your teacher center, not ones that you're creating in the brand new teacher center. But what you're able to do with those old groups is you can actually go and enroll new students. You can pull them from other classes and put them into yours. You can adjust all of the settings for that class as far as what minimum grades are, things like that. And you can actually assign curriculum directly from there. So we're really focusing on that teacher center, and focusing on that ability for you to navigate from one place instead of having to jump in several different locations, to make that teaching and that administration as seamless as possible. All right, Miss Audrey, you can go to the next one if you like, ma'am.
Okay. So, do you want me to go to the next one after this?
No, ma'am, that's good. I was wondering if I might be able to take over the screen. I have this video queued up that I'd like to share because some of our participants may not be completely familiar with it, or a lot of times that we have different age groups that are represented if you're in elementary. So in this particular case, we brought an elementary new item out of our library. It is the Online Safety and Digital Citizenship strand, and this is our cyberbullying lesson on the legendary shell phone. So this is a second grade unit, and if I could, I would like
You
to
want me to
share
start?
with you.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
First, I was trying to, I just realized how to do it because I was,
Tell you, I might be able to help us along, Miss Audrey. Let me see if I can do this, and I'm going to
okay.
share my audio. And
Oh, here you go. Okay. You got it?
I
Okay, we
think
can see it. Yeah.
you see it now. Oh, fantastic.
Uh-huh. Great.
Awesome. Awesome. And I'm going to have to move. Of course, it's going to take over the one that I want to show you. There you go. Are you able to see the cyberbullying, the legendary shell phone?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm going to play that now.
Tales of Tech Grove. The legendary shell phone, Part 2. Truman and Poppy must report this cyberbully. That means giving all the information to a trusted adult, like a parent or teacher. Poppy presses the report button on her messaging app. Suddenly, a shadow appears in the trees. It's big. It's scary. It's Ollie? This trusted adult has been trying to catch up all weekend. Poppy and Truman report to Ollie. Reporting should include 4 W's. What happened? When? Who is involved? And where online did it happen? Today, it was in Poppy's messages. Ollie understands. Cyberbullies need to be reported so they can't hurt anyone else. He is proud of his friends for not participating or responding. Now they know that the right thing to do is ignore and report. Truman set a good example by slowing down before he acted. Now that a trusted adult knows, the bully can be stopped. Trusted adults can always help protect us from online scares. Ollie blocks the cyberbully from being able to use the shell phone. Finally, Truman's treasure. Ollie had sent the map. He says the shell phone is Truman's prize for being a safe digital citizen. He can use it to play games and send messages to Poppy. Even better, Truman can finally video chat with his family back home. The digital wilderness is full of surprises, but the Tech Grow friends know to report problems. Truman and his friends danced the afternoon away, listening to his favorite sounds in the world, his brother's laugh, and the 5 funky strings of a banjo. Truman reported the cyberbully. Now, he has a shell phone to chat with family and protect his digital information along the way.
All right. Now I'm going to attempt to stop sharing and pass it back to you, if you don't mind. And as you can see, that is one of our new second grade cyberbullying videos. If you're interested in how to get it, we actually put the click path for you in the presentation. Miss Audrey, are you able to pull it back up, or?
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
can everyone see my screen now? Hold on. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am. It's back up.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you could go up 2 slides for me, please. Slide 29.
Okay.
There you are.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see this and any of our other videos that we have in different grade spans, all you'll need to do is go to your library in your teacher center. And this particular one was housed under our online and safety and digital citizenship tile. And you can do it multiple different ways. You can just go into the search bar and type shell phone, and it will bring up the 2 lessons that we have, part 1 and part 2 for the shell phone. And then you can also just go in and physically navigate through the second grade unit until you find it. So we have multiple ways that you can get to these activities, but we wanted to show you an example. And I tell you, I actually get to be on the team that does some of the product creation. So to see these going from digital renderings to 3D animation to the storyline, listening to the feedback that we get from other teachers from other states. We have a core group of people at learning.com who vet the curriculum, who go through and make sure that there's alignment with what it is that our students are wanting to learn and the animation. It is a phenomenal process to be a part of. And we encourage, as time goes on, if any of you would like to be part of some of our focus groups, we would love to also have you reach out to Tiffany and let us know that you'd be willing, so that way you can help shape the curriculum that goes out to the rest of your counterparts in North Carolina and ultimately through the rest of well, not only United States, but we're international, so it can help everyone along the way. All right. Continuing on, we'll go to the next one, where it is again back to the teacher and how we can help teacher be able to operate a little smoother. And these improvements are around our gradebook function. So now if you had a student who wanted to go in and retake one of the lessons, you can go in and delete the score out, and this time the students can physically take the entire lesson over again. That could be from anything to, they did it, they've done some remediation and want to take it again. They may have utilized their neighbor or their elbow neighbor to do activities, and you may want them to do it a little more on the solo side of the world. So these are ways that we can do it. Now, just for a caveat to this, the function that we're talking about here, it doesn't work with our TechQuest dashboard. It's only going to be for the class gradebook and the assigned items that you do within your class. So we want to make sure that we differentiate those 2 pathways, the teacher assigned pathway and the TechQuest dashboard. So this will be for your teacher side of the world. And also in the presentation, we have an online training center update blog. So every time we do something new, we will have a description of what's new. We will have screenshots for you. We will talk about it in a little greater detail. So if any of these two things that I've talked about are really hitting home for you, you can actually go into that hyperlink and you can view these updates in a little more resolution, if you will. And I have one last one, I believe.
Okay.
Yes. And these are the things that are coming soon. So these are on the queue for part of our updates. We want you to be able to go in Teacher Center and we want you to create new groups from there. So that is going to take away that first little caveat that I shared with you on that last screen. So you'll be able to do it directly from the Teacher Center. We're always adding updates to TechQuest. The new items are being added, new things are being created. We're maybe replacing some of the things with older curriculum with newer curriculum. So we are constantly updating our TechQuest, and we're also updating our curriculum maps, both our blended learning path and those student-driven asynchronous ones. If you are in the process of working through your 2022-2023 school year curriculum, if you'll reach out to Tiffany, we have these that are being created. We also have partner groups that we are utilizing within our platform, and we're getting their information in and formulating those curriculum maps that could help you along in those planning stages when it comes through your implementation for next year. So just reach out to Tiffany if you are interested in receiving some of those. And that's about all I have on our side of it for the coming new. If anyone has any questions, I know we do have time at the end. But if you have a burning question, I'll take that before I turn it over to Mr. Rose.
Okay.
Fantastic then. Mr. Rose, if you're ready, sir.
Thanks, Kevin. Fantastic update. Thank you for doing that. You know, part of my role has always been to be able to be out and be within the schools and walk around and watch the teachers and the students utilize learning.com, and that's by far my favorite part of my job. And anytime we have an opportunity to have our customers, our partners talk about our program and the impact it's having is a special time for me. And I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to introduce you to Karen, Cathy, and Amy. Great users of ours this past year. They're going to share with you their experience this year and the impact it's had on their teachers and their students. And so with that, I'm going to introduce Karen from Hoke County, and then she'll pass it off to Cathy and to Amy. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rose. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karen Nichols, and I'm the Coordinator of Digital Teaching and Learning and Media Services for Hoke County Schools in Rayford. We're a small county with about 9,000 students enrolled. We have 8 elementaries, 3 middles, a traditional high, an alternative, and an early college. I'm really excited to share with you our successes with learning.com. We've had a great year with the program. Now, I will tell you, you see on my first bullet, it says we took a year off and we're back. And we started as a Tier 1 district back in 2019. And at that time, we took advantage of it being, it was a free resource provided to us by the state. We used it in our media curriculum, but there wasn't really a lot of emphasis put on the use of learning.com back in 2019. It was great. We loved it, but like I said, it was just extra on top of some of the other things that we were already doing. Well, we lost our Tier 1 status, and so we didn't renew. And of course, that next year was the pandemic year. So it changed our perspective a whole lot because during the pandemic, we had varied versions of remote learning in Hoke. We had several months of full remote with our students. Then we moved to AB days, and a lot of our students still opted to stay fully remote during that time. And now we're back, but we still have some students in special circumstances that are learning from home. So the pandemic emphasized how important those digital literacy skills are for students. We knew it before. We knew it in 2019 that it was important, and it was a nice thing back then, but now it's necessary. The remote learning has really put that in front of us, that those skills are necessary skills, not just nice skills for students and teachers to have. And the great thing about learning.com, we were teaching digital literacy even without learning.com, but it also gives us a really easy tool to use to measure our progress with our students. And that's really instrumental for us here to know what to do. So like I stated earlier, we found out during the pandemic the skills our kids had and the skills our kids did not have. And with that, we wanted to ensure that these skills are being taught. So our district went a step further, and we added learning.com into our 5-year strategic plan goal to put it out there for everyone. This wasn't just something that was nice to do; it was something that was expected to happen here in Hoke County. And so our goal, the objective in our strategic plan, states that by 2026, 80% of our students will earn certification annually for successful completion of approval in a digital literacy course. And then it goes on a little bit further than that, but that's kind of the meat of it. And what we decided to do was we would use the TechQuest curriculum for our students to show the data for this, that they were doing this. And we're looking for them to complete the grade level curriculum with a 2 or 3 star average. That's what we consider a student being successful in meeting that goal in our strategic plan. Now this year was rough, coming back in person, getting going. And even though we had used learning.com before, it took me until about October, I guess, maybe late October, early November, to really get it off the ground and get my media coordinators pushing the program in their schools. But as you can see, this is just our TechQuest launches, not our teacher launches. We had 128,663 launches in TechQuest, and I pulled this data maybe 2 weeks ago. So we've probably had more than that since then. So that is just a phenomenal use of the program for us. And even with us getting that late start. And we do hope that we can meet that strategic plan goal this year using TechQuest, but we know even if we don't, that is baseline data that we can use that will show, where we are as far as digital literacy goes in Hoke County. I also just wanted to add, we all have to do show SIPA compliance, and learning.com really helps with the educational side of that, teaching students about appropriate behavior online. And we did it before. Like I said, we've always done these things. We used Common Sense Media lessons before, but learning.com just does all that reporting for us. When I pulled the report last week, it showed me that 80% of our students have already achieved this, and that was just with the learning.com data. I didn't even have to pull anything else. So that is really helpful. And next slide, please. Another tool that we used this year was the DLA, or Digital Literacy Assessment. And what this is, it's an assessment for 5th and 8th grade students, and it is aligned to the ISTE standards. And what this one isn't so much tied to our strategic plan goal, but it's mostly just for us to be able to see the gaps in our digital learning programs. And there's a full assessment as far as the DLA goes, that you do a pre-test and a post-test. We didn't have time this year. Like I said, we were rushing, so we did the Snapshot Assessment, and I did that I had all of my 5th and 8th grade schools do that in February. And so I just did a screenshot of the results. Now, if you were actually on the dashboard of these results, you can really drill down and see the actual students. But you can see from this graph that about a good chunk of our students are in that 45 to 73% range, which seems okay. But when I broke it down, you can't see it because we are not on the live dashboard, but like our 5th grade students, when I clicked on goal 1, empowered learner for ISTE in the ISTE standards, 320 of our students scored below 43% on that goal. So I know that's a place that we need to focus on for next year. But then when I looked at goal 5, computational thinking, 272 of those same 5th grade students scored above 75%. So this data will be really great to help us really focus in on where we need to go as far as digital learning goes with our students and helping them with those skills that we need. So this is data that I can share with the digital learning team that I work with curriculum and instruction, as well as shape our program in our media centers and libraries to work with students so that we have even more success. Next slide, please. Okay, and my last slide here, I know I'm a talker now. Media coordinators are the key to our implementation. We chose this, so we did this the first year in 2019. Media coordinators really just did it by themselves. And this time we made them the coordinators of the school coordinators of the program. I'm the district administrator, and then they are the school administrators of Learning.com. And since they were already the folks that teach digital citizenship in our schools, it made sense to have them be the people who push this out in their schools and support the program and support their teachers with it. And that's been real successful for us. We also used Clever this time, and I'm going to tell you guys, if anything made getting this off the ground successful, it was actually using that single sign-on. Because in 2019, we had to manually input the kids. Every time a new kid came, somebody had to put them in. There were passwords. Even though there were badges, it was different from everything else. So we opted to go with the single sign-on with Clever. Well, the great thing is that the kids have to use Clever for several of our programs here in Hoke County, and Learning.com, that little tile that was up there was just exciting looking to kids. So they just looked at it, they went in. And since we used TechQuest, they actually were able to get to their path. They didn't even have to have a teacher tell them to do it or a media coordinator tell them to do it, because it was student driven and it's automatically graded. So they were able to actually just get going on their own. And some of the kids were like, hey, what is this? And it's a really awesome program. So it kind of grew from that too. So Clever has really eased us getting this program really being used and seeing those launches, that we have those big numbers. I think a lot of it is due to us switching over to single sign-on. Now, and the one thing I will say about that, just like any other program that connects us directly to PowerSchool, that also is a little bit of a challenge as far as your grouping and, because you're kind of tied down to however your classes are set up in PowerSchool. That's how they're going to be set up in Learning.com. So what we found was, like, when I did the DLA, I actually created new classes and put the kids in there to accomplish what I needed to do for reporting. So there may be instances where you still have to create some classes, but if nothing else, using the single sign-on, the kids have access without someone actually having to go in and do it. There's no lag time there. So I'm a real cheerleader for using that if you're thinking about going into this. The other thing that has been a challenge for us is time, which I'm sure is for everyone. We do have those programs where, the kids must spend 45 minutes 3 times a week on this program and, 2 hours doing this a week. So they did not want to put a time on Learning.com that, teachers must, the kids must spend this much time. What we did do was tell our librarians it's kind of an expectation that when the kids come to the media center in their media lessons that they do use the program and then promote it with the teachers. We also talked with the teachers about using it when kids finish work early. Have them get on Learning.com. Maybe make it a digital content center in your blended learning rotations, things like that. And so, like I said, we've had great success with it this year. And administrators, I haven't had as good a buy-in from my administrators as what I would like, but what I'm thinking is when the data comes out at the end of this year as to whether or not they met their goal on the strategic plan, I may have a little more buy-in next year because of course they're all going to want to have those numbers and meet that goal. So I feel like that will also get us support in our program. The last challenge I just wanted to mention is we use iPads for pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. And Learning.com does have a heavy emphasis on keyboarding skills. And so we have found that with our iPad students, it's a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily give all those lessons that are in TechQuest to them because of them being on an iPad. So next year, I do know that at least for our K1, I'm going to change them over from TechQuest and actually do some curriculum. We're going to choose the curriculum we want. We mostly did TechQuest, and I'll just tell you, just trying to get it started and get it going, it was the easiest way to do that. TechQuest, we just turned it on and got everybody started. So now that they're familiar, next year I can actually customize a little bit more. And if I need to do some of those teacher-created launches and some of the blended opportunities that you have in Learning.com, it'll be much easier because they're familiar with it because we made TechQuest available. I can't really say enough about Learning.com. It's gamified. The kids enjoy it. My media coordinators just honestly thank me for it because, it gave them, we're in a lot of change as far as libraries go and what their role is and things like that. And it really gave them a useful tool to help them with their planning and stuff. And it's great when you have something the kids don't hate, like they love it. They get in, it's fun. And so any district, if you're out there and you're thinking about trying Learning.com, it comes highly recommended from Hoke County. We're really enjoying it and looking forward to the next year to see where we go with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karen. And I was going to say before you leave, if anyone has any questions for Karen, feel free to ask if you have a couple of minutes. Okay. Okay, so we're going to hear from Cathy Keys now with Richmond County.
Everyone. First of all, Karen, I wanted to tell you, started out with elementary also, and we had computer classes, just like we had media classes and art and that type of thing. So our kids would actually go to a computer lab to do Learning.com instead of doing it on their iPads, because our K2 kids are on iPads also. So that's kind of how we worked our way around that. We sent them to a lab to do it. But I'm not sure if that'll help you or not, but that's what we did. First thing, I want to give a shout out to Tiffany and company. I mean, Learning.com, the help desk has helped us so much these last 2 years. We started in 2019, and it was actually my second year as a tech facilitator. And I kind of thought I knew what I was doing, but I'm not sure I really did at that point. So, we kind of winged it the first year. I brought the elementary teachers in and sat them down, and we went through the Learning.com training center together, and that's how they learned how to do it. Elementary kids loved it. We had one of our schools, East Rockingham, just went off the hook with how they were doing their launches. Matter of fact, most of those 10,000 launches that we had that first year came from East Rockingham. Then the second year, of course, COVID hit. We hit the same issues there that Karen did also. We had AB days. We were off on Wednesdays. Elementary kids came back before middle school kids did, and then they were coming back, and just everything that you went through. But so we hit that pandemic stall. So I wanted more growth in 2021, but it wasn't quite as much as I wanted. So this past year, one of the things that we've done is we have gone in and started talking to CTE teachers about it in the middle schools. And we're starting to introduce middle schools, middle school media center specialists to Learning.com. And the thing that seems to have helped the most is I personally have gone in and started integrating Learning.com into Canvas. It wasn't very easy to begin with, but I got some help with some of my fellow tech facilitators, and they kind of helped me figure it out. And then the Learning.com Help Center helped me figure out how to get learning.com into Canvas. And I started building the lessons. I've built the complete 6th grade blended learning path for Canvas, because those teachers that have use Canvas, they want to be able to send the kids to one place to get their work. They didn't want to send them to, iExcel, or they didn't want to send them to an outside entity. They wanted to keep them in Canvas. And the best way to do that was to build those lessons in Canvas. So I started doing that this year, and I've got the entire 6th grade built. I'm working on 7th grade at this point. And you see how much our numbers have jumped. We're up to 87,000. And actually we're at over 93,000 at this point. That's an older report. But some of the CTE teachers have been gracious enough to let me go into their classes in Canvas and build those classes for them. And they've started using them, and they can pull them out of. I have basically a standard course that all of the teachers are in, and they can go in and they can send that lesson to their Canvas course and open it up in there, and then it grades it for them, and it sends those grades to Power School. So it's a one-step process for them. They just have to get it from my course into their course, and then they've got it, and it goes along with their curriculum as well. So the CTE teachers are really starting to focus on learning.com a lot. That's one of the things. I think I'm the one that said more coding. They want a lot more coding. And also, a couple of the glitches that we've had was actually getting the app to work in Canvas. There were a couple of things that I guess I wasn't doing right, or I'm not sure what we were doing, but we couldn't get it to sync. And it finally just kicked in right around Christmas time, and we've been working on it ever since. My goal is to eventually have our K2 kids only use Seesaw, and the grades 4, 5, and up are using Canvas. So we want to be able to have all of that stuff in Canvas. So I'm always looking for whenever you say you've added such and such, I want to make sure I've incorporated into my Canvas. So that's a lot of the things that we've done. Again, Canvas is just our big thing. We've had issues a little bit with the grades going over, because learning.com, the names of their assignments are pretty long, and Power School will only take a grade of the titles to be 31 or 32 characters. So we have to figure out a way to shorten those titles down so that Canvas also won't take them unless they're that short, and then they'll sync over to Power School. So we're renaming some of the assignments, but that's just how it is. So I'm hoping that by the beginning of next year, I'll have all those courses built and can share them out with whoever wants to have them. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cathy. We appreciate
Thanks.
the input and how you have taken upon yourself to go into Canvas and build those courses. So we really appreciate that. Before you leave, if anyone has any questions for Cathy, feel free to ask. Okay. Well, Cathy, thanks again. I really enjoyed that. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to come to speak with us today.
Okay.
Okay. And lastly, we have Amy Pope with Sampson County Schools and Learning, and how they're using learning.com. So, Amy?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, uh-huh.
Okay. I am an instructional technology facilitator with the county schools, Sampson County Schools, and we started using learning.com this year, and the students absolutely love it. Before becoming in this position, I was a media coordinator, so it has a huge positive impact upon the media coordinators, because I know when I was in the school, I had to do all of the lessons on digital citizenship and in order to meet SIPA compliance for E-rate funding. So this is one of the things that we use learning.com for. The students log in, and they complete that SIPA portion, and then that makes us E-rate compliant. But also, you can go to learning.com and print off a report as to what students are SIPA compliant and what aren't. So this helps out a huge deal for the media coordinators and just, E-rate and SIPA in general. Implementation started with all elementary and middle schools in fall of this year, assisted in making 5,397 students SIPA compliant for this school year. And that was as of yesterday. And like I said, as a district coordinator, I can go in and print a report that shows all of the students that are SIPA compliant. Our media coordinators can go in and print a report that shows the students at their schools that are SIPA compliant and the ones that are not, so they know the ones that need to finish their activities. Now, another thing I will say about learning.com while I'm thinking about it is if you have any issues, like, a couple of times we've had a couple of glitches where students' progress won't show up. You go in, you put in a work order, and they are very, very good about getting back with you instantly. I think the most I've ever waited is about an hour, and they just tell you, hey, we're fixing this, or they'll put a fix in. But I mean, as far as the support goes, it is wonderful. Total launches as of yesterday were 139,808. The TechQuest launches were 69,691, and the teacher assigned launches were 70,117. So that shows you that the teachers are also buying in and assigning their students different tasks. Our CTE teachers do use this as well. I had talked to one, and her students love it. But like the other one said, one of the only issues I see with it is our K2 are on iPads, and that presents an issue when they're trying to complete some of the keyboarding lessons. But that's an easy fix for the schools that still have labs, and we do have some elementary school without labs. They just go to the computer lab and complete it. Like I said, it's primarily used for online safety and digital citizenship by our media specialist. SIPA requirements, of course, E-rate, and that would help me out too, because when I had to do it with each class, I had to sign all the paperwork, keep up with it to turn into our technology coordinator to show that we were SIPA compliant. But now through learning.com, the students complete it at their own pace. It's done, and then we have a record of it that you can easily print out in an Excel spreadsheet, so you can also filter it. One of our main things is we are integrated with Classlink, and I cannot speak enough good about Classlink. Classlink is absolutely wonderful. Once we rostered with Classlink, there's no issues. When students come in within a day or two, they're already rostered into learning.com, so there's no usernames, passwords that they have to learn. Classlink is absolutely wonderful, and I feel has helped make the integration seamless because it's in there with all the other programs that the students use on a daily basis. Let's see. The CTE classes, as I said, they do use it, and they assign the curriculum. General education teachers assign tasks on a regular basis. As students complete the digital literacy, it allows teachers to see the information as well. The program is very engaging, and the students enjoy it. Now, some of the comments from the media specialists that I have are the students love it, especially the younger K2 students. They like the self-paced modules. It allows the student to proceed at their own learning pace. And another teacher, media coordinator, said she truly appreciated learning.com's self-paced curriculum and found it very beneficial to students. The lessons were targeted at specific grade levels, and media activities were fun and engaging to students. She also appreciated the content of the curriculum as it focused on anti-bullying measures and internet safety. So those are some of the things that our media coordinator said. Computer lab facilitators. The lesson on typing and using Word documents and printing is especially useful for 4th and 5th graders. And they love that it's self-paced and that the school does not have to purchase additional software, and it's located right in Classlink. So I love the ability to be able to roster with Classlink because not all programs have the ability to roster with Classlink. The keyboarding lessons and the SIP lessons are all in one place. The CTE teacher / student comments. The students say that learning.com is fun. They love that it is interactive, and they like that they can go back and redo a lesson in order to improve their grade or get more stars. Teacher comment, the CTE teacher. As a teacher, I like the fact that students can work at their own pace and the videos are great. And that basically is our overview of learning.com. We are very excited that we also get to use it next year because, as I said, it is a huge benefit for SIPA compliance and E-rate funding. But I cannot say enough positive about it, but it is just wonderful, and we look forward to continue using it.
Thank you, Amy. And also, what I did, her title is a hyperlink to some additional information, and also what she just shared. So I just put that in the chat for everyone as well. If they want to take, when you have the time, you can go out and look at that information that Amy has already also provided. So I want to thank Karen, Cathy, and Amy once again for sharing their experience with learning.com and also providing input from their media specialists as well as from the students, because just like Brian said, that helps a whole lot, for those who currently use learning.com and for our new tier ones to learning.com. They will give you some information on how beneficial and how helpful learning.com has been for other users, and also how it is SIPA compliant. So we really do appreciate your input. So I'm going to turn it back over to Brian. Brian?
Brian, you're muted.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And Karen and Cathy and Amy, I wanted to express my thanks for your participation today. What was really interesting was just really the difference in the way that you all have implemented learning.com and the success that you're having with it, with your implementation. Cathy, some of the work you're doing with Canvas is, I know, critical to your district and may be really interesting for other districts throughout the state to be able to leverage. So thanks to everybody for your participation. What I hope to do over the next few minutes is just share some information about wrapping up this year, some things to be aware of, some things you might want to consider doing for those of you who are currently using learning.com, as well as shed some light on some things that you might want to consider doing as you prepare for next year. So as you wrap up this year, some things that you might want to consider doing that we consider to be best practices. First of all, there's lots of reports that you can go in and generate. And so this is now the opportunity to go and generate those reports, take a look at those reports and the details associated with them. You heard Karen, Cathy, and Amy talk about the reporting capabilities within learning.com and the information that it provides for them to adjust their instructional strategy and then take a look at what they might think about doing for next year. So if you have any questions around where those reports reside and how to access those, certainly reach out to Tiffany and she can shed some light on that. One of the things we'd ask you to do is also to notify us of any updates that you may be making around your organization. So if there are new people being introduced to assist as a coordinator or an admin on learning.com, please keep us posted on who those folks may be, as well as some just general housekeeping, like names of schools that may be changing, those kinds of things. Just keep us posted on all of that. And then there is going to be some additions to the online training center. As you all know, you have access through your login, your learning.com login, to the online training center. We'll be making some modifications and some additions to the training center. So just keep an eye on that and review those training opportunities. Go ahead, Audrey.
Okay.
For those of you that are using TechQuest, obviously it's an opportunity that we provide you to get immediate access to grade level relevant digital literacy content for your students very easily. We'll be making some additions to the TechQuest pathway. You saw some new lessons that that Kevin showed. We'll make those additions to TechQuest. But for those of you that have been using TechQuest and are looking for a way to extend the learning opportunity for your students, there's a link there on this slide to a document that talks about what do you do beyond TechQuest. And so please take an opportunity to look at that if you're looking to extend the learning opportunities beyond TechQuest and perhaps start to incorporate teacher assigned content. Go ahead and advance to the next slide, Audrey. Thank you. As I mentioned, the training center that you have access to through your login will be we'll be making some modifications to that in preparation for next school year and some new features and capabilities that we'll be adding to the platform. One of the things we want you to be aware of is that if you have earned badges and certificates through the Getting Started module or the TechQuest Quick Start module, you'll want to take advantage of that now by downloading those badges and certificates, because we'll be doing a refresh on the platform and preparing for this coming year. So please go in and download those badges and certificates and add those to your signature on your email and take advantage of that. So the one item I also wanted to point out is, as users of Learning.com, you are eligible for professional development and training that is at no cost to you. It's just included as part of your subscription. And Tiffany has done an amazing job in North Carolina with customizing that professional development and training to meet the specific implementation strategies of all of our users. And you saw an example of that through the 3 PSUs that you heard speak this morning. A lot of the training that they received was directly through Tiffany and or through our online training center. Please take advantage of that. This is a great time to start scheduling the professional development and training with Tiffany for the upcoming school year. As I also mentioned, the online training center, there's all sorts of new information available on that. It's if you haven't used it, it's full of just-in-time training vignettes that will take you to a specific feature and functionality that you may be trying to utilize, and will train you up on how to utilize it. It's also full of blogs and community forums and so on. So I encourage you to take a look at the online training center. The other thing that we try to do during this time of year is start success planning meetings. These are meetings that we try to conduct with both our new and our returning PSUs. Again, this is an opportunity to speak specifically with Tiffany about what your instructional strategy may be for next year and how you might want to adjust your implementation to meet that. So whether it's integrating with core or doing or using Learn.com and Lab and Media Center, or whatever your specific implementation strategy might be, it's a great opportunity to speak with Tiffany about that and to have her help you do some training and adjustment to your use of Learning.com to meet your objectives coming into this next school year. Some upcoming events. We're just wrapping up our adaptive keyboarding contest. It ended, I guess, 2 days ago. And Tiffany will be aggregating the results of that and be announcing the winner. For those of you who participated with us on that contest, we thank you for your participation, and we're looking forward to making that announcement of the winners. We'll also be conducting, in conjunction with DPI, a webinar that will be targeting the new Tier 1 PSUs. I think we have 19 new participants coming into this next school year. We'll be conducting a webinar that will be focused on ensuring that your implementation for Learning.com, it goes as smoothly as possible. Keep your eyes out for an email from Tiffany and Audrey on that webinar that will be coming up very soon. And then we will be conducting a series of summer webinars 30 minutes typically in length that will be focused on some of the topics that have been requested by our customers. Again, those will be conducted throughout the summer. Kevin and Tiffany and others will be hosting those webinars, and the dates and times and topics of those will be announced very soon. So keep an eye out for those as well. Just a final slide, I believe, on how to get a hold of us, how to reach out and ask for help, how to explore more deeply into learning.com. If you have any questions that we can help you with, please give us a call and we will get in contact with you as soon as possible. I think Tiffany's back at the end of this week or early next week, and so I'm sure she'll be following up with each and every one of you to start discussions around those success planning meetings.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kevin. At this time, we're going to open up for any more questions. And what I'm also going to do is, as we mentioned earlier in the opening slides, we appreciate if you go out and fill out feedback, give us feedback. And I have just entered into the chat the link for the feedback for HBMU. So any questions or comments or anything, any additional information you would like to see provided, not only for learning.com HBMU, but any of the other HBMUs, any of the other products, then please feel free to add that. And again, I really do appreciate everyone's participation. And I want to give a shout out once again to Karen, Cathy, and Amy for taking time out of their busy schedule to come and talk with us. So if no one else has any other questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end it. Matthew, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
I think we're good. I appreciate everybody's attention today.
Okay, then. Well, thanks again, and you all have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you, Audrey.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Audrey.
Okay.